Go.
Hello, 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 and welcome to our wonderful Q&A question time for our quantum questions. Today is Friday the 13th. How exciting is that?
Yeah.
I love Friday the 13th in March 2020. I'm Stephanie Hunter, and this is my dear friend and special colleague, Karen Crichton, both of us from here in New Zealand. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to the ladies who sent us the questions this week, because, I don't know, feels very high vibration and buzzy to this week, Karen. I'm quite excited about the questions we've been given.
Yeah, they are really. It's really quite interesting. It's like the I suppose as we intensify the what's going on in the world, and we'll come to that in a minute. As everything intensifies, people are wanting to know answers that are actually probably never asked the questions about before, because everything's just bubbling to the surface, isn't it?
Exciting times. It's exciting times. Well, we'll get to the questions in a second. I'll get to my answers to the questions in a second.
Yeah.
So, Karen, can I just jump straight in there, because everybody's just dying to know the answer. Well, not everybody, but we've had this question answered by quite a few people this week. So thank you to all you people who have asked this particular question. But the question I've got for you, Karen, is what is cellular memory and how does it affect us?
Oh, Lord. Now, that's a big question. Because I've been working with clients on cellular memory for years, and we've been talking about it, and people go, yeah. And we know instinctively what cellular memory is, but now science is actually catching up and going, there really is such a thing as cellular memory. So how I perceive it, because I'm not a scientist, I'm not a quantum physicist, I'm not, I don't have that language, but my language is basically how I see it is when we have, let's say, a trauma, and it can be actually very minuscule in the big scheme of things. So as an example, when you're a little tot and your mum leaves the room, and you're aware that they've left the room, and you start crying, but they can't hear because maybe they're out in the garden hanging out the washing or something. And we keep screaming, and then we feel abandonment, we feel unloved, we feel fill in the blank. And even though it might only be a couple of minutes, to us as a little tiny tot, it seems like eons. So then mum comes in and gives us lots of love and cuddles and everything else, and we appear to be okay. But what happens is that cellular memory gets locked into our physical body and linked to our subconscious mind. And so when this happens, of course, we have other things in our lives as we grow older that actually keep compounding that cellular memory. So we can have relationships where someone keeps leaving us, or we can have feeling of unloved, even though someone's giving us lots and lots of love, because it's not our love language. So, and then of course, this is where it gets mind-boggling, is not only do we have our own cellular memories as we go through life, is we actually take on board our ancestors' cellular memory. So, for example, our parents' cellular memory, because our parents will have had trauma just like us, and then our grandparents' cellular memory. And when you think about our grandparents, they would have gone through World War I, World War II, and some of your great-grandparents, of course, it depends on your age. But if you think about that, is quite phenomenal, because it goes through human history. And so that cellular memory can come through as emotional, physical, spiritual blockages. And so
wow.
If you think about that, is, we look at the law of attraction, and everyone's trying to attract to them good health, good wealth, great relationships, whatever we're wanting to attract. Is it any wonder that we don't actually attract to us what we so dearly desire, and actually in our hearts believe that we can have, but we have these blockages running through? So those blockages are actually preventing everything from flowing. And of course, then if you believe in past lives, you can actually add those into the mix as well. So you've got this cacophony of memory that, when used in a positive way, can be looking at, say, like the Akashic records of humanity, isn't actually serving us because it's blocked.
My word. I mean, this 5-minute question time is not going to give anywhere near the amount of time credence for what we're talking about here, Karen, because my mind is just going ping, 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 ping right now. So
Yeah.
we are basically with the realization that our cellular memory is not only our own,
Mm-hmm.
but that just come down through our ancestry as well. And guys, this is scientifically proven now. This is not just a natural health consideration. This is actually scientifically proven as well. I've read the reports myself. Crikey, Karen, we're living in a very exciting time. This is where I get really excited, because now that the realization is here, now that it's become a conscious acknowledgement,
Yes.
think of the things we can do to heal. Think of the freedom we can create. Think of the chains that we're going to break and release.
Yeah, because you and I, we get these messages through our guides, through our council of advisors, so to speak, and we're being told left, right, and center this is a time where humanity can evolve to where we really should be, where we can have abundant health, an abundance of love, abundance of joy. And of course, we believe that, I personally believe that life should be fun, and health especially should be fun, because let's face it, if you've got health, then everything can be fun, no matter what we're going through.
Gosh, this is, honestly, I'm so very, very excited, because to term a phrase, we're earthed the answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's just mind-boggling and so exciting, and I really truly believe that that's why we are here now, this time round, that we are here with the, oh gosh, we've been given such the honor to help release such past traumas and situations and circumstances and blockages, and just imagine what's going to come through. For some people, Karen, I feel that it's going to be quite scary as well, because they don't know anything else. It's very much outside comfort zones for people, eh?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, this is actually going to lead nicely into the question I'm going to ask you. But if you think about it, at the moment, the world is, not everyone's buying into it, but the world is in a buzz of fear. And my belief is that as humanity is evolving and their frequency is rising, there's always going to be those who want to close it down, because we won't be controlled anymore. And so consequently, this fear that everyone's feeling, and it's palpable, the fear that everyone's feeling is bringing the frequency down. And so it's actually preventing people from really rising to their full potential. And so
if they stick into a subconscious state. So yeah, again, I know what the question is you're going to ask me, so I'm hesitating to say anything now, because I'm going to bring it up for the answer to the question.
Yeah.
But one thing that does pop into my head right now, my such good English, my head right now is, from what you're saying, Karen, how do I word this? Trying to put it into words. What we've been doing to date is treading water and dealing with symptoms. We haven't actually been dealing with the causes.
Yes, in a word, yes. I think there's some things that can really help release cellular memory. So if we look at in homeopathy, for example, there's what we call miasms, and miasms are basically ancestral history of certain disease processes. So like syphilis, gonorrhea, and TB. So for example, if there's a miasm within a family DNA of syphilis, then it's likely to present itself as alcoholism or addiction.
Wow, really?
So if we look at that, then it traces back. And that's a really good illustration of cellular memory at its core, because it's not just emotional, it's physical, and but that it affects the way we think, eat, breathe, and do social stuff. So homeopathy have been dealing with these miasms for a few hundred years, and so consequently we've started, but now the tools are there for us to be able to complete it. And so what we've observed as practitioners working with clients who have been ready to work through emotional and spiritual and physical blockages is everything starts ramping up. So when we really get to who we truly are, then we can switch on our anti-aging hormones. We can switch on our intuition, our psychic abilities. We can or amplify them even more. So the better it gets, is what I'm basically saying. And I think that's probably where I need to stop this, because otherwise we can go on for hours. So
fascinating.
Right. My question for you, Steph, is, and I've had a few clients ask me this, is it possible to thrive in this current situation? And this current situation being in this fear that's being propelled around the world.
Thank you. It's a fantastic question, and it's a really, really important question at this time. And thank you for giving me the platform to addressing this, because yes, it is popping up all the time. I'm seeing it from young children through to elderly focus. You know, a lot of people are feeling battered and bruised at the moment. A lot of people are feeling confused, and the confusion is coming through because many people who come and see me, or I speak to, even in the supermarket queues when to check out, is why are we in such a state of panic? So we have very distinct camps here. Let me just excuse me for 2 seconds, just while I put the bottle down, because I want to use my hands here. We have very distinct camps. We have those who have brought into the fear and are totally embedded in the fear. And I've witnessed, as I've said to you a couple of times this week, Karen, just watching some YouTube clips or some videos from news reports and so forth, I've witnessed people appearing to be in a state of PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
Over this whole toilet paper scenario, you know. So taking out the obvious thing that's right in front of us, what they're focusing on, in this case, toilet paper, and looking at the body language and looking at the facial expressions and the way they're interacting, and got into absolute defense mode, absolute tactical defense mode. And I'm not exaggerating there. Their actions was literally to take someone out. Step back and look at it from a different perspective, rather than a reactive perspective. Step back and look at it, the whole story, try and see the whole story. And I was witnessing somebody struggling with PTSD. I was witnessing somebody who a past experience. So going back to the cellular memory, I think the two are quite close together, actually.
Very much so, yeah.
Close. Because as I watched the particular clips I'm talking about, as I watched the perpetrators, in inverted commas, because I feel in a way they themselves were victims acting out for defense. I was witnessing trauma in its rawest form, which does not equate with the fact they needed 10 packets of toilet paper. That just didn't equate.
Yeah.
So step back, people. When I ask you to do this will help you to understand from a state of compassion, because in order to thrive, compassion is key. Absolutely. The answer to your question is compassion is key. In order to thrive through this situation, you'll see me walking around with bacterial spray, and I'll be spraying my hands, even if I haven't had anybody in the clinic. It's just a habit I'm getting into every 5 minutes, spraying my hands. But you know what? I was doing that before this whole coronavirus fright anyway.
Yeah.
Because we have bacteria, we have viruses that travel around. So it makes sense to protect yourself anyway. Just, you know, big common sense kicks in. So how do we thrive in the current situation? Stay in a state of compassion, folks. Don't allow yourself to go spiraling out of control because there's so much fear around you. Take a deep breath, keep breathing calmly, 3 breaths in, 3 seconds in, hold for 5 seconds, release for 3 seconds, calm the farm, just keep the farm calm. Step back from the situation. So What do I mean by that? When we take media into account, and media, I feel, has absolutely fueled the panic and the fear around the world.
I agree.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And my mummy boots come on, and I start to put my hands on my hips going, how dare you do this to our people? How dare you do this? But then our people are buying into it. So the media will only do what they can do in order to create sales and control and fear. And that thing called divide and conquer. You know, if you want to control masses of people, you divide and conquer. You divide them so you can conquer them. So, you know, everybody Chinese should be avoided. Oh, that's rubbish. I'm sorry, but that is so rubbish. It is so outside of the equation that we shouldn't even, we literally should be laughing at that sort of scenario. You know, everybody from Europe should be avoided. Again, keep the intelligence in base, the common sense going. So what I say to people in order to thrive is be aware, do your own studies, get the facts and figures, take some time out, do your breathing techniques, look from a state of compassion. Okay, at the same time, be common sense, carry some antibacterial spray around with you, you know, empower yourself. I spray my steering wheel when I go to drive my car every day. But again, I was doing that beforehand anyway, because you don't know what's going around. Here in New Zealand, we're going into autumn, so we're going to have our normal autumn bugs come around as well. So you do this anyway. There's no change there. There's absolutely no change. The more we fear, the more we allow ourselves to go into fear, the more we suppress our immune system, the more acceptable we are to disease and disorder. So, you know what? Laugh, guys. Laugh lots. I have purposely taken my Facebook pages and I've all put I've suspended all marketing or what I do, and instead I find funnies. And I'll just put a funny up there once or twice a day and I'll find something. Now, using that as an example, this is how much you, our beautiful people, are intelligent, and you know on a conscious level and a subconscious level that this is just absolutely bizarre what's going on right now. Is there a disease going around? Is there a virus going around? You know, yes, there is. Absolutely there is. Does it warrant the effect that we're having? Unless we're not being given all information, which, you know, I don't think that's the case. Look at the facts and figures. It doesn't warrant the situation. So why are we seeing all this chronic reaction to coronavirus? Because it spreads so easily. So take precautions.
Yeah.
So
And it's no different, really. Yes, it takes longer to incubate maybe than normal flu, or, you know, and so my thing is right, let's look after our immune system. Laugh, that makes your immune system heighten. If you can, have a sauna, because a sauna brings your immunity up. Don't eat sugar, because sugar depletes your immunity for 6 hours after you have a smallest amount. You know, there's so many things you can do for yourself, as you say, Steph.
Always remember this. Always remember this. That what happens to us is we don't have control what people do to us. We have 100% control on how we handle it.
Absolutely.
It is our choice. So you are actually in control of your own emotions. You're absolutely 100% in control of your own reactions. So if you're feeling out of control, if you're feeling like a spiraling out of control, it's because you are giving up your control. So take those breathing steps that I suggested. Take a step back. Remember that media will always look at a whole picture. And I'm going to use my hands here to try and explain this. If there is a story that's that big, the media will give you that much. So from the macro, they'll micro into the most reactive part of the story. And because that's all you as the readers or the listeners get to hear, you think that's the whole story.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, because it's just like, if you think about what we hear in the media is the bad news, and it is that much. What we don't hear is the good news, the good stuff that happens in the world, all of the amazing people like you guys who are watching this, you're amazing, powerful souls, but we don't realize it. We don't recognize how brilliant we are.
Yeah, regardless of who you are in the world watching this video, are you going to have to go into 2 weeks of self-quarantine? There's a possibility, there's a possibility that you may have to go 2 weeks self-quarantine. So why not have fun while you're in quarantine? Seriously.
Yeah.
We've got governments around the world now saying they're going to pay people to stay at home. Pay party. Pay party. Yeah, pay leave, what? I'm going to order up my bottles of wine. I'm going to order up my, as that post that I put on one of my Facebook page with Pooh and Piglet, which I'm sure many of you have already seen, so I'm not going to repeat it now. But the distinct choice of how to react, we had Pooh and Piglet on this side going, you know what, we're going to bring in family-sized bags of chocolate buttons. We're going to bring in stuffed crust pizza and as much prosciutto as we can carry in case we get locked down for 2 weeks, because if we do, we're going to watch movies and have fun, And then we had Eeyore's perspective, which we all know that Eeyore is a representation of a depressive personality. And we've got Eeyore's representation, who's, I'm going to stand here and watch sticks and listen to the world go down the gurgler, basically. I'm going to get quarantined for 2 weeks and the world is just going to absolutely go to hell in a handbasket. So same scenario, different reaction to it. And which do you want to be?
Piglet,
so can we
or Eeyore?
In this situation, do you want to be a little piglet or do you want to be a donkey? Do you want to be an ass? It's a scenario. But humor is key, guys. Compassion is absolute key. Common sense is absolute key. Now, intelligence does not mean you've got a common sense. I've seen this time and time again. We've got highly intelligent people who are just not using common sense at all. Gosh bless them. But the question you asked me, Karen, is it possible to thrive in a situation? The answer to that is absolutely 100% yes, it is possible to thrive. It may not be in the type of may not appear to be the same type of thriving as you think what thriving is, making lots of money, being very famous and so forth. But thrive as in I honor myself and I honor my loved ones enough to keep the vibration up. And we're going to ride this time, because you know what? This time too will come to pass. This is not the end of the world. This is not the end of society. This is not the end of what we know. This time too will come to pass, and how we journey it is totally up to us.
Yeah, that's empowerment in a nutshell, isn't it? Personal empowerment, because
absolutely,
it's actually time that we took back our power, took back our ability to be the powerful humans that we are.
Absolutely.
Instead of
and this is what I find very exciting, actually.
Yes.
I don't wish anybody pain. Please don't think I do. I don't wish anybody pain or wish anybody fear by any means. I'm the dead opposite. But what I see happening, just going into my intuitional feeling for the next couple of weeks here, just flowing over into that can, if you don't mind. So it's just coming through quite fucking fast. What I actually see here is many people who are going through this fear, this fear-mongering, this enforced panic, are starting to say to each other, this doesn't make sense. Why? Why are we doing this? And they are what I would call starting to wake up. Yeah. Wake up to the realization that they have been led like their nose through their ring, through their nose, beg your pardon. A ring through their nose, it didn't sound too good, did it? But a ring through their nose. And they have that through their lives, they've been living in a subconscious level where they've been led into beliefs that are not their own.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that now is changing.
On that note, I think we better stop, Steph, because otherwise we've gone a lot longer than we anticipated. And of course, we could carry on doing that all day. But so for today,
fantastic,
we will say au revoir.
Have a wonderful week, guys, and keep the questions coming, please.
Yeah. Lots and lots of love. Bye for now.